Please welcome our heroic sponsor, enVista, and heroic superhero, James Cook. Today, he will be presenting on using Power Platform to expand your ERP and rethink business processes.
Hello, and welcome to Using the Power Platform to Expand Your ERP and Rethink Business Processes. I'm James Cook, and if you're wondering why I'm speaking to you today, let me give you a little bit about my varied background. I have 30 plus years in software and consulting, about 13 years in the Microsoft space, and I've touched Exaptia version 4, AX 2009, AX 2012, and now finance and supply chain management. When I retooled my skills to enter the Microsoft space, I wanted to learn from the ground up. So I learned X++, started learning SSRS, and I began to grow in both my functional and technical skills. Today, 13 years later, I'm a director with the Microsoft practice at enVista. Let me tell you just a little bit about enVista and where I work. It was founded in 2002. We're currently an inner circle partner for business applications, but we do so much more. Our supply chain strategy group focuses on planning strategy, distribution and warehouse, transportation and retail. Our automation group deals with material handling, robotics integration, and warehouse control systems. I'm part of the systems group that's focused on selections and implementations, with my particular focus being Microsoft finance and supply chain management. Lastly, our technology services include managed services and outsourcing. So what are we going to talk about today? The 4 areas that I broke this into are struggles with ERP customizations, the Power Platform parts and capabilities, when you might use what part of Power BI, and lastly, I just pulled together a few examples to help you get a vision for where you might head in the future. So first of all, struggles with the ERP. Modern ERPs are robust, and they cover many functional areas. But there are some downsides on anything that big. There is an increased complexity. Also, Microsoft has an evergreen product that is constantly being refined and improved. But those updates can sometimes bump up against customizations in your ERP. Also, development in finance and supply chain must by necessity follow the rigid options for development in the system. The complexity of modifying an ERP requires an interesting combination of skills like understanding X++, SSRS, SQL database, understanding tables and entities, as well as functional competence in the interrelated modules. This combination of skills can require some high costs, and those costs can be confounded by the need for rigorous testing, not only for a given modification, but also the regression tested needed with each update from Microsoft. Now let's talk about some of the pieces of Power Platform, and we'll start with Power BI. Not all workers across teams are equipped with the skills to understand data and discover actionable insights hidden in your data that can drive business results. Microsoft Power BI enables you to create a data-driven culture where everyone in your organization can make confident decisions with real-time analytics. Power BI offers capabilities to help you discover and explore insights from your data, including automated machine learning and predictive modeling, new AI visualizations with decomposition trees for detailed root cause analysis drill downs, and easier ways for everyone to interact with their data using the new QA visualizations. With Power BI, you can reduce added costs, complexity, and security risks of multiple solutions with an analytics platform that scales across your organization. Hundreds of data visualizations, built-in AI capabilities, and pre-built custom data connectors help team members create real-time dashboards and interactive reports leveraging familiar tools such as PowerPoint and Excel. With Power BI, you empower everyone with the tools to be a data hero, finding and sharing transformative insights that impact your business. The Total Economic Impact report by Forrester Consulting explores how organizations capture a 366% return on investment merely by leveraging Power BI. Power BI Desktop is a free application installed on your local computer for data analysis and report creation, while Power BI Service is a cloud-based service for viewing and interacting with reports and collaboration. The desktop is used for detailed report creation, data modeling, and visualizations, while the service is used for sharing and editing reports, creating visuals based on existing data models. Meanwhile, there is a mobile app that you can securely access and view live Power BI dashboards and reports on any device. Microsoft Fabric is a comprehensive analytics and data platform tailored for enterprises seeking a unified solution. It covers data movement, processing, ingestion, transformation, and real-time event routing, in addition to report building. The platform includes a wide range of services such as data engineering, data factory, data science, real-time analytics, data warehouse, databases. With Fabric, there is no need to piece together services from various vendors. It provides seamless, integrated, user-friendly platform that simplifies your analytics needs. As a software as a service or SaaS offering, Fabric ensures simplicity and integration in your solutions. Microsoft Fabric unifies different components into a single cohesive stack. Instead of using multiple databases or data warehouses, you can centralize data storage with one lake. AI capabilities are built into Fabric, removing the need for manual integration. This allows you to effortlessly convert raw data into actionable insights for business users. Fabric is built as a software as a service, or as I mentioned, SaaS foundation, and integrating various workloads such as data engineering, data factory, data science, data warehouse, real-time intelligence, industry solutions, and Power BI. These components are designed for specific user roles like data engineers, data scientists, or data warehousing professionals, each catering to their unique tasks. The entire Fabric stack is enhanced with AI integration, accelerating the data journey and ensuring seamless collaboration among these workloads. Fabric unifies data and services, enabling centralized management, governance, and discovery. It ensures security for items, data with row-level access and core enterprise capabilities configured centrally. Permissions are automatically applied across all underlying services, and data sensitivity labels are inherited across the suite. Governance is powered by Purview, which is integrated into Fabric. This platform allows creators to focus on their best work without needing to integrate, manage, or understand the underlying infrastructure. With Microsoft Power Apps, anyone can quickly build and share low-code apps. Citizen developers and pro developers alike can build low-code apps that modernize processes and solve tough challenges. These solutions help to increase agility across your organization and empower your teams to build solutions to everyday problems. With Microsoft Power Apps, you can leverage pre-built templates, drag and drop simplicity, and quick development to allow your citizen developers to build the application they need with advanced functionality, something that they earlier had to rely on professional developers for. Additionally, with Power Apps, you can provide professional developers with tools to seamlessly extend application capabilities with Azure functions and custom connectors to connect to hundreds of data sources, including pre-built AI components. Lastly, with Power Apps, you can build powerful end-to-end business solutions by connecting Power Apps across the entire Microsoft Power Platform to Office 365, Dynamics 365, Azure, and hundreds of other apps to drive innovation across your businesses. By deploying Power Apps, businesses are reducing app development costs by 74% and increasing overall efficiency by using Power Apps, as shared in this Total Economic Impact Commission study by Forrester Consulting in March 2020. Power Automate is a cloud-based service to help you automate workflows and business processes. If you have heard of Microsoft Flow, that is what Power Automate used to be called. Power Automate is designed to be user-friendly and allow both technical and non-technical users to create workflows easily. You can streamline and automate a wide range of tasks and processes, making your workflows more efficient and reducing manual effort. But many tasks and processes can be set up to use this tool for things like approvals, notifications, integrations, task automation, and monitoring. And Copilot Studio, you can build end-to-end Copilot as a SaaS or software as a service. You can design the topics, the plugins, the actions, etc., to publish your channels. You can customize this with specific workflows to be triggered and give more control over responses. This is a connected platform. You can build in the studio, and anything you do there can be enhanced with the breadth of Microsoft's conversational AI tooling, including Microsoft Azure AI Studio, cognitive services, bot framework, PP AI models, and more. You can manage the central admin center. You have the visibility to the who, the what, whatever you need. With Microsoft Studios, you have a variety of conversational tools at your fingertips. You can build manual topics where you control the flow with a turn-by-turn dialogue. You can build call actions and create plugins using thousands of pre-built Power Platform connectors. You can build and use custom GPTs, as you saw in the OpenAI announcement. You can even create custom prompts to GPT. You can then take these pieces and create your own custom Microsoft Copilot to deploy to your own website. Or you can choose to customize Microsoft first-party Copilots, like Microsoft 365 Copilot, with your own enterprise scenarios and capabilities. For example, you can allow your employees to interact with M365 Copilot in Teams to ask HR questions. Copilot Studio is built on Power Platform AI Builder and other Power Platform technologies, and it brings together and integrates various conversational stacks from across Microsoft, from Azure OpenAI Studio to Azure Cognitive Services to Azure Bot and Services and more. Microsoft Dataverse is a cloud-based data management platform that allows you to securely store and manage data used by business applications. You can consolidate data from various sources into a single unified platform, making both access and management much less complex. Dataverse integrates smoothly with other AI services like Dynamics 365, Azure, and Office 365 as well as connecting to a wide range of third-party applications. By using Dataverse, you can streamline your data management processes, enhance security, and gain deeper insights and ultimately drive better business outcomes. So what do you use and when do you use it? So let's talk about the difference between kind of the lower end of this process. So Power Automate versus Power Apps. So Power Automate was primarily designed for automating workflows and business processes. The target audience were users and IT professionals who need to automate repetitive tasks and processes. The functionality enables the creation of automated workflows between different applications and services, and it uses a visual designer. Integrations, it connects with over 1,000 pre-built connectors, including Microsoft services and third-party applications. For the use cases, Power Automate is suitable for automating tasks like sending notifications, synchronizing data, automating approval processes. Now looking at Power Apps, it's designed for more like creating custom applications. The target audience are business users and developers who need to build apps without extensive coding knowledge. The functionality allows you to create custom business applications that can run on web browsers, mobile devices, or within Microsoft Teams. For integration, it connects to various data sources, including Microsoft Dataverse, SharePoint, Dynamics 365, and external services like Salesforce. Some of the use cases are ideal for building apps for data entry, for tracking, for management, as well as creating interactive forms and dashboards. I live in Colorado, so I thought it would be useful to throw out some ski difficulty signs to help us understand where we might begin. So Power Automate covers the gambit from easiest to more difficult. Logic App covers that gambit from more difficult to most difficult. And Function Apps are really experts only. So business users and end users looking to automate workflows or processes without deep technical knowledge, that's more on the Power Automate side. Logic Apps are more geared toward IT professionals and developers who need to create more complex workflows and integrations using a low-code drag and drop interface. Lastly, Function Apps would normally be used by developers who need to write custom code in languages like C#, JavaScript, Python, and others. You might consider function apps if you are looping through a lot of data, or efficiency becomes very important. So beyond the Power Platform, there are some additional tools which you might find helpful. And these are more on the development side, working through this. Postman is a great tool for making REST calls to APIs. So it's extremely useful if you're trying to make calls to a third party or other system and you want to see the results before you set up a custom connector in a Power App. SQL Server is a tool to allow database access, allowing you to look at data by querying or modifying data, looking at tables. Notepad++ is a tool that allows you to view and modify many file types and even source code. And lastly, Visual Studio's Code is an integrated development environment by Microsoft. So let's talk about a few examples. And these are just things that we happen to have done recently at enVista. So I thought they would be good ideas for how you might use some of these Power Platform tools. For interfaces to and from finance and supply chain management to other systems, we have utilized both logic apps and function apps, depending upon the level of efficiency we needed. We have been creating journals from spreadsheets sent via email, and we validate and transform those spreadsheets using logic apps. So in essence, from another system, a spreadsheet is sent, that spreadsheet is processed, a journal is created that the user then reviews, approves, and posts in D365. We also use it for extending and simplifying workflows within finance and supply chain management. And we also use it to trigger events. So things like maybe some critical fields on a vendor have been updated, and we want that to be bubbled up in either an email or a Teams notification. We can send that notification directly to the interested parties, letting them be aware of that data. And the last is one I'm going to give a little more detail in that we find very interesting. We've used Power Automate to surface approvals through Teams. So here's an example. So if you're familiar with workflow in D365, the workflow triggers once a user submits that workflow item. When that workflow item is triggered, a business event is used to send information to Power Automate. Power Automate then sends a Teams message to all the users for that approval. And they can either, although I just marked approve, reject is also a possibility here as well. They then send that approval back. Power Automate handles that. It sends the approval to finance and operations, where the workflow is completed and the ultimate user is notified of what happened. So I'm going to show you some details within this. So when setting this up, the instance would be either the test, UAT or production environment that you're working with. In this case, I'm using the category of a workflow work item to trigger this event. Specifically, I'm looking for the purchase requisitions approval, and that's a workflow. That's workflow number 62. And you don't have to pin it to a specific legal entity, but in this case, I did. So first of all, what are we going to tell the user in Teams when this happens? And you see some things in purple here. Those are items that we're pulling out. And the system has an interface where you can click, start typing something like item or owner in that first thing. And that gives me the information to click in there. And that's a variable coming directly from D365. In that case, it's going to be the user's name. Then I type some verbiage to say, what is this about? And then I put some additional information about the specific document that we're working on and some other things. And those are all selected based on the pull down menu. Lastly, I finished that up with some other verbiage. And what does it look like? This is an actual approval, although this one I snagged was not for purchases. This was just a quick and dirty one I did for general journals. You can see the approval comes in. I have the ability to reassign it to someone else. I have the ability to reject it or approve it. So in this case, I approved it. And then what is happening is Power Automate is waiting for a response. And this response is what I'm setting up here, again, with those purple pull downs to define what I want to say and who it goes to. And then lastly, I have an if statement to determine what I do if the approval is yes, and what do I do if the approval is no. In both cases, I'm sending back to the original submitter of that workflow item and let them know that it was either approved or rejected. And just so you can see, this is what an approval looks like. Again, this popped back up to my Teams. I could just as easily make this email, but Teams is pretty useful. And where we find this particularly useful there are a number of people who aren't always in the system looking for those workflow items. This is a quick way for them to get access and view those items and approve them or reject them quickly. So just a quick review of what we were doing is from within finance and operations, we use a business event to reach out to Power Automate, which sends a notification to Teams. And that Teams is defined by the people that are put in that approval role, and they can approve or reject. That information is taken back to Power Automate, which then pushes the approval and completes the workflow in D365 Finance and Operations, and also notifies the submitting user of what has happened. So any questions? Very good. Thank you so much for joining. If you want to connect with us, enVista's website is envistacorp.com. You can also see enVista's LinkedIn as well as my LinkedIn profile as well. Thank you so much for your time, and I hope you have a fantastic day. Well, hello, everyone. Weather may be just a little different in Berlin. Any questions from the crowd? Yes, we have used it for some other use cases as well. There is a plethora, a very large number of business events that you can pull out for. Primarily, my focus has been in the finance and workflow area. But Nathan, I don't know if in your group, are there other events that you have used?
Yeah, so we've done events specifically around like invoicing and warehouse components. We've done a lot of custom events too. It's kind of our one main way that we push data out from F&O instead of a pull scenario where you might have polling where you have a job that's kind of going and looking at F&O and pulling it out. Business events is a much better kind of state to kind of trigger those events as a whole. But yeah, it's a great way to get data out in a near real time or real time event, so which is great.
And I think I have seen some pretty simplistic things talking about if you want to maybe monitor new customers or modified vendors, you can trigger off simple events like that as well.
Yeah, and then if you want to take it a step further, right? Power Automate obviously is very, simple, got the connections inside of it, but sometimes you might run into limitations, specifically like F&O, where you might want to do more advanced things beyond like data events or business events. And what we usually recommend our clients is to look at, okay, if it's real simple and it can be done in Power Automate, great, do it. Or if you get to a point that it becomes a little bit more advanced, or there's some components that might not be there just with the out-of-the-box connections that you have in Power Automate, then we recommend you take the next step, which is go to the big brother, the parent, which is Logic Apps. Take your Power Automate that you can export, drop it in Logic Apps, and you'll find that you have a lot more capabilities with those different components. So always recommend start with Power Automate if you haven't done it much, and then if you need to do some more advanced ones, just take it to the next level and move into Logic Apps.
Very good. I think we're running a little short on time, but if you do want to connect with Nathan or myself in LinkedIn, we would love to start up a conversation. All right. Thanks, everyone. We very much appreciate your time. Hope you have a fantastic day.